box me up real quick, probably clip me, then go home.
As a business, I understand. I ain't gonna hate on the decision, but as a man
Your
and
pride
as
will
a
get in the way.
fighter with my integrity.
In preparation for his impending bout with Gervonta Davis, Jake Paul is sparring with Shakur Stevenson. Jake has selected Shakur as his sparring partner in an effort to improve his speed and defense while matching Tank's size and talent. Jake, who has been a professional boxer for 5 years, thinks that this preparation will provide him with a necessary advantage. Determined and self-assured, he intends to surprise the boxing world by defeating Gervonta Davis and demonstrating that he is a legitimate member of the top fighters.
For, like you said, a guy who is shorter than you. How do you find a sparring opponent to replicate something that obviously, there's nobody else out there that's Tank Davis? How do you prepare for a guy that's different stature-wise?
Yeah, no, we have world champions. Raymond Ford in the 130-pound weight class. We got Montana Lovin. Shakur Stevenson is coming in this week. So
wow.
Just sparring against guys on their level and people who have, been doing this their whole entire lives. But we're really focusing on speed. And not as much on power. I'm not doing as much like weightlifting and all of that stuff. I'm actually trying to lose some muscle so that I have less weight and so that my...
Since making the move from social media to the ring, Jake Paul has advanced remarkably. He has already won several official titles, demonstrating his growth and self-control in the sport. Jake keeps up his rigorous training regimen and strives to silence his skeptics in spite of criticism. He is determined to shock the world once more by showcasing how much his talent, power, and dedication have improved. And his forthcoming battle against Gervonta Davis is his hardest challenge to date.
And even shock myself and show myself what I'm capable of.
When you picture how it goes down, is there something that you see yourself in? Do you see yourself knocking him out? Do you imagine being victorious? And what would that mean for you? A guy, again, who has only been in this sport for a couple of years. You've turned it on its head. You've had a massive impact, clearly, in just a few years, but it's only been a few years. That's the bottom line.
No, exactly. This is my 5th year as a pro, and so I've had to progress faster than anyone else in the sport to be able to compete at this level and to be able to hang in there with these guys. But I do believe that I have the power and the offense to be able to walk Tank into a knockout like I've done with other opponents and set them up for it. And so I am fully confident in my ability, and I think it would be one of the craziest upsets in a long time.
Yeah, one of the craziest upsets ever, probably, in many people's eyes. Well, I think I saw Cardi B just put a $250,000 bet down. It was a parlay, I believe, on Aspen all over Cyril Gahn. But then for Tank to beat you, have you seen that? And what do you think about Cardi B potentially facing a $250,000 bet here?
I didn't know.
I saw it on.
Shakur Stevenson has joined Jake Paul's training camp. This action demonstrates his dedication to thorough planning. Paul claims that Stevenson personally contacted him and offered to join his camp, which gives his present training phase more legitimacy. Paul has surrounded himself with a number of really talented left-handed fighters in an attempt to emulate Gervonta Davis' speed and southpaw style. He can adjust the angles, footwork, and counterpunch timing that mimic Tank's fighting rhythm thanks to this varied sparring environment. Paul no longer relies solely on brute force. Instead, he now emphasizes movement, discipline, and training. Stevenson, a seasoned technical boxer, gives Jake's generally unorthodox boxing style a polished professional touch while indicating his desire to compete at the greatest level of the sport.
We got some great guys coming in, some really experienced southpaws that are smaller. I think Montana Love is coming in. Shakur Stevenson wants to come in. Jermaine Ortiz. We're gonna hit up Erickson, Lubin, some of these guys. So we're just gonna bring in a plethora of fighters that are fast.
Even with the ongoing controversy surrounding celebrity boxing, the sport retains its classic appeal. Major fights continue to draw crowds for reasons other than pleasure, such as the reverence and nostalgia that boxing evokes. All boxing groups are talking again about the impending bout between Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis. Opportunities like these are part of the evolution of boxing, said Brian Mendoza. It makes logical to let an athlete compete if they draw attention and make money. In the end, he noted, boxing is a business where opportunity arises from attention, and both men have earned their share of it. In a time when social media and short attention spans rule, the fight has generated conversations around the globe, maintaining boxing's relevance and commercial strength.
And it's crazy, but people getting paid off of it.
Yeah.
So if he can call any one of y'all out and y'all can get that payday, I say go get it, baby.
You know,
I'm not mad at it.
For me, and I'm not mad at this move at all for Tank Davis, but I think when it comes to boxing fans, there's an essence that comes with this sport, and it's an essence that hasn't been lost, unlike other sports. For an example, with football, we come from the hitting days.
Yeah.
Can't hit nowadays. You know what I mean? So boxing hasn't lost its essence. You know, they're trying to make it safer and all those sorts of things, but there's still this pureness to boxing that really doesn't exist in sports anymore, but it's still there with boxing. I think that's why people have such a problem with this kind of move from Tank Davis.
Is it more the heart? How do you guys feel being boxers?
Man, like once you hear the numbers, I'm like, they're talking, like, I don't know the official one, they're talking about like 100 mil.
Oh, damn.
Like, they're talking about these insane numbers. Like, I'm gonna be like, don't take that. I'm not gonna tell another man not to take that type of check, especially for something like that. It's not on your official record. It's an exhibition. I'm not gonna lie here and act like I'm not gonna say yes to 100 million or something like that. But I do see exactly what you're saying about the essence of boxing. I wish they would kind of separate it a little more, because exhibitions have always been a thing. There's always been an argument.
Right.
But they're just selling it like a real fight almost.
Right.
So I think that maybe if we could create a better like distinction, more of a difference,
Right.
there might be less hate on it. But at the end of the day, man, I'm not gonna tell Tank not to take that fight.
And I said this last year. I said create a influencer title. And let those guys fight over there in the influencer world. They can live the world and the life.
Many fans were taken aback by Jake Paul and Shakur Stevenson's unexpected union. Stevenson, who is renowned for his cool professionalism, usually avoids working with crossover fighters such as Jake. However, this collaboration shows a unique blending of modern and traditional boxing cultures. It has been described as strange by observers, although it appears to be advantageous to both fighters. Stevenson is exposed to a younger, wider audience, and Jake receives technical training from one of boxing's best strategists. Their meetings have been characterized as intense and concentrated, demonstrating that even non-traditional collaborations may produce worthwhile educational opportunities. Additionally, the partnership blurs the distinction between boxing for entertainment and training at the highest level, signaling a change in how the sport adjusts to contemporary audiences.
Stevenson reached out to Jake Paul in support of him preparing for Gervonta Davis. Help me understand, what is the difference between Boots Ennis reaching out to Canelo Alvarez in support of his preparation for Terrence Crawford versus Shakur Stevenson reaching out to Jake Paul in preparation for his fight with Gervonta Davis? Tell me, what is the difference? I'll tell you what the difference is. The Ennis family actually had a relationship with Canelo Alvarez. Shakur Stevenson had no relationship with Jake Paul. None. We heard, oh, Boots is a sparring partner. How much you got paid for that? So now, isn't that also applicable to Shakur Stevenson? Is he not also a sellout? I don't want to hear anything about this fight. It's against a YouTube, it doesn't matter. No, Shakur Stevenson is an elite level fighter that is going to be a sparring partner to a YouTuber, and he reached out to him directly?
Shakur Stevenson has been outspoken about his opinions ever since Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis was announced. Stevenson gave a more thorough explanation of his position, despite some people assuming that his engagement implied support for Jake. He approached the battle from two perspectives: competitiveness and business. He understood that, from a commercial standpoint, the bout might generate enormous attention and income, two things that boxing promotions constantly aim for. But he also noted that it is inconsistent with the competitive nature of the sport. Stevenson remained impartial, recognizing the advantages without discounting Tank Davis' choice to engage in combat. His composed and macho attitude demonstrates maturity by emphasizing the development of boxing over individual viewpoints.
Opportunity, because this is prize fighting, right? It's about making money and securing your family. Can you fault them for that?
It's two sides of that.
Okay.
Like, it just depends. Like, as a fighter, just because I had a draw with somebody, for me, I may run it back. But in a business aspect, if you run it back and you lose to Lamont, and then the Jake Paul fight is presented, you may not make as much money, or the fight may not be as lucrative as it was before you lost. So, as a business, I understand. I ain't gonna hate on the decision, but as a man
Your
and
pride
as
will
a
get in the way.
fighter with my integrity,
Yeah, but isn't there a price for everything, Shakur? Like, even if you had a draw with somebody and you were offered 10 times more than you ever, I don't know what the number is, but it's a lot more than he's ever made. You think you might consider doing the same thing, right?
I would, but you gotta also realize, I know that it's not going nowhere. Like, the
Right.
fight ain't gonna go nowhere. Like, say, because if I really believe in myself,
Right.
and I wholeheartedly think, like, if we fight again, I'm gonna win this fight.
That fight still be there around the
After
corner.
I beat this motherfucker, where you at?
Yeah.
The fight's still there. It's not gonna go nowhere. But if I have a 50-50 thought process
doubt.
where it's like,
Right.
yeah, I got doubt in my brain, I may be like, all right, fuck it.
Also,
Let's
in his
cash
case,
out.
it might be that he's tired of fighting anyway. He's leaning towards retirement
Yeah,
anyway.
let's cash out.
So he's just gonna get that.
Commentators on the Jake Paul versus Tank Davis bout have expressed differing opinions. It is viewed by many traditionalists as a marketing gimmick that might potentially eclipse real boxing matches. However, experts acknowledge that these bouts give the sport new fans and commercial prospects. The irony is that although detractors decry the match, they profit from the publicity it generates. The attention it garners benefit promoters, broadcasters, and even opposing fighters. This dichotomy demonstrates how boxing today operates inside a broader entertainment environment. In addition to intense action, the sport benefits greatly from well-known figures, rivalries, and captivating tales.
Sure, there's a lot of people that switch over now. Everybody's
Right.
like, oh, I've been telling y'all, Shakur. I know y'all have not. Y'all all been quiet.
They on the bandwagon
Do
now.
you actually, we talked to Virgil Ortiz, right? He told us that he be screenshotting a lot of the hate on Instagram to remember to maybe one day comment on their posts. Do you remember certain comments or posts that bother you?
I remember it, but like, I'm not gonna screenshot it. What I do, I kind of like, if I see something, I be ready to argue it or go back and forth, but I get up and run.
But I'm
like,
talking
fuck it,
about
I'm
Get
gonna
up
go
and run.
run 3
Or
miles.
it
motivate
motivates
you.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I'm talking
sure.
about like somebody that you know in the boxing industry that you respected, that you kind of was disappointed, like, damn, like.
Everybody, except for the people that's like right there with me, like the Bud Crawford. He's somebody who kind of stayed with me throughout everything, and I think he's one of the realest people in the sport of boxing. But everybody, I feel like everybody just said,
like commentators, people that hold shows,
people around me started moving different.
like
everybody,
friends.
everybody,
Really?
everybody.
So you had to cut some people off?
Yeah, yes, I cut people.
People
off.
you thought were friends.
Yes.
When you say moving different, what do you mean?
I ain't gonna like go into detail because I ain't gonna need to put everybody on the spot, but a lot of people start looking at me different. You know, social media make people think a certain image or certain things about you. Like, people I walk into every day, like, bro, I know you. I've been around you for years. You know me. So if you know me, how you feel as though that you gonna go and look at me different or treat me different than what I already was. So
Right.
yeah.
Well, what did Turkey say after that when, like, on a personal conversation? Did he say anything to you?
I just said good job. We gonna get you on the next card.
Daniel Cormier, a reputable analyst and former UFC champion, gave a straight assessment of the bout, saying it was not as entertaining as other possible bouts for Tank Davis. According to Cormier, Tank has already shown his value and doesn't require spectacle-driven competitions. In Cormier's opinion, this partnership is superfluous because Davis has legacy and financial stability, unlike fighters who are looking for paychecks. His remarks, however, also reveal how veterans of other combat sports perceive the idea of crossover clashes. Some believe it compromises competition integrity, while others value the publicity. However, from the perspective of a promoter, Cormier's remarks merely heighten interest in an event that is already making headlines.
Dean, that's bad. Because you know what that tells me? That tells me that even he recognizes that he's too big for him.
Yes.
He recognizes that he's too big for him.
I'm wondering how this even came about. It can't be that Gervonta Davis needs money. That can't be the
He's
reason
been
why
a
he's
world
taking this
champion so recently. How could he be broke?
That's what I'm saying. Like, is he doing this for money? And then why and how is even Jake Paul doing this when no one respects it? Like,
But
I
Jake
can't
Paul-
think of anybody that respects this.
But Jake Paul has been able to carve out and make his own lane in boxing, and I've never seen anything like it, bro. He literally, I mean, we don't know what weight class he fights in any situation. We just don't know. He kind of makes his own rules.
He makes his own rules.
And it seems like people are playing by those rules. I remember a couple weeks ago, the WBC and Jose Suleiman was very upset that he wasn't going to be able to put the belt on the winner at Canelo versus Crawford. That's the thing that's happened since the beginning of time. Those guys are very powerful in boxing. But with Zuffa boxing, it was almost like that power was getting stripped away. They were very disappointed. But how can you take those sanctioning organizations seriously when they are sanctioning this?
That's my point. That's my point. That's why I think that this whole thing that we have, this boxing and this MMA argument and Zuffa getting into boxing, our argument is misplaced because things like this should not be happening. And the fact that boxing is allowing this to happen is an embarrassment to the sport.
Yeah, I don't understand why. I talked about this before. Like, I didn't know why they were fighting because, I mean, Gervonta Davis's last fight was at 130.
The possible bout between Shakur Stevenson and Gervonta Davis is regarded as a real test of skill in the boxing community. Both fighters possess exceptional experience, mental poise, and technical skill. Pure boxing skill, timing, defense, and ring savvy would all be on display during their fight. Although Jake Paul provides entertainment, fans understand that Stevenson versus Davis is the pinnacle of the sport. This distinction is important because it shows that spectacle and real competition can coexist in contemporary boxing. The excitement over a Stevenson-Davis bout also demonstrates the complexity of the sport and demonstrates that, in spite of celebrity-driven headlines, true talent still draws interest.